here's my question about Tom Brady today. Is Tom Brady retiring because he really wants to retire today? Because it's really time. After 23 years, it's really time. Or could he just not find the right team and right situation? Because we've been told he loves football. We know he loves football. We know that he can still play. No matter if we want to split hairs about, wanting to get hit or, moving around in the pocket. Perloff, he just went through another 18-week season with the playoffs, and we know that he can still play. You can't tell me he's not one of the best 32 quarterbacks on planet Earth. He's still top 15.
Right, but you can't say just because he's top 15 that his retirement is not for legitimate reasons, because one simple reason. The dude is 45 years old, Maggie. What are you talking about? He's 45.
I understand.
He should have retired last year.
Listen, the guy has been defying the odds and his age since he turned 40. I mean, the guy's had a Hall of Fame career since he turned 40. The best stat about this, by far, hands down, is that Tom Brady, if you just took his stats from when he was 40 years old until now, would be the all-time leading passer for the Chicago Bears. Like, this is what's happening. The guy's had 3 Hall of Fame careers.
He just set the record for completions
in this season.
But you did see a decline. You can't say this season was all about things around him. There definitely was a reluctance to get hit, and he was grounding the ball all over the place, throwing the ball 10 feet in front of him into the ground. So it's not completely devoid of what's actually happening on the field.
Okay, but his offensive line was missing basically 3 starters. Yeah. I mean, they had, for some reason, his connection with Mike Evans just was not evident this year. Mm-hmm. He clearly didn't have enough weapons. So I don't know if we're blaming what went wrong with the Bucs on Tom Brady. I think he's actually the last person who we're putting blame on that they got, handled by the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. I think people are applauding what Brady could still do at this age. And I think people like me thought he was still going to play at least another year. But the reason why I'm saying I don't know if Brady retired or the game retired Brady is you look at some of the teams that he would have likely gone to this year if he did want to play. Mm-hmm. So let's look at San Francisco. Already passed on Brady once in 2020. It's on the West Coast. We're not sure if he wants to do that. And they have a Trey Lance, Brock Purdy situation, Jimmy G mixed in. Who knows what's going to happen there?
And they won 12 straight games last year without Tom Brady. There's reason to think that they might be good without him.
Las Vegas. Stu's Raiders. The number 7 pick in the draft this year.
Okay.
They need a quarterback for the future. Enough messing around. They've split with Derek Carr.
No. This I do not agree with.
Okay.
What if they bring in Tom Brady for 1 year and draft a developmental quarterback? Because there's no non-developmental quarterbacks going number 7 in this year's draft.
They don't have a ton of cap space, and I think they have to think about the future, even though their team is basically ready to win now. Do not forget the report that maybe Darren Waller, maybe Hunter Renfrow are right now on the trade block. There's weird things happening in Vegas. That's not a sure thing. The Jets was never going to happen. That was a long shot all the time. Carolina, they have the number 9 pick. They need a quarterback, and there's no connection there. New Orleans, there's no connection there. And Miami has made it obvious or trying to be over obvious this week that they're committing to Tua.
Yes, but if Brady was on the market, you're saying really on the market, you don't think Miami would change their mind?
Listen, the ship might have sailed on that. I mean, they already got docked a first-round pick this year for tampering with Brady.
Sunk cost, Maggie. What difference does it make now if he signs there?
I know, but the league might step in. I have no idea. I think that's dead. So, really, where did he have to go?
One more. I don't think you mentioned Tennessee and Vrabel, which has always been floating out there for him.
And Tennessee and Vrabel, but, I mean...
They have no receivers. You should have said
no
that.
Receivers. Thank you, Perloff. They have no receivers.
Well, here's the thing. When you go back to Tom Brady leaving the Patriots, you can't possibly say the teams he was looking at are in any better position or the situations. Tom almost felt desperate. He was looking at teams like the Bears and the Chargers and the Raiders at the time, who didn't even have Devontae Adams, and maybe Miami. But he ended up with the Tampa Bay team that hadn't been to the playoffs in 2 decades. Hadn't had a winning season forever. So I understand what you're saying, and you do make a very good case. But I tend to believe this was about him not wanting to go out there and get hit anymore. I think that was a much bigger factor because he could find an okay situation. I just think what I saw this year on the field looked like he was done. I mean, think of that Cowboys game. Did he seem like he wanted to be out there anymore?
Well, listen, did this season look like anyone was having a good time on the Bucs? Absolutely not. But that doesn't mean Brady wouldn't have wanted to go somewhere else. I mean, I know we were saying he didn't want to get hit, but were we saying that all year? We were kind of saying that towards the end of the season.
I think he was even worse in the beginning of the year. Did they? Yeah, he was pretty bad earlier in the year, too.
I hesitate to say Tom Brady was bad this year when he led the league in completions. I mean, we know all the accolades that he has. We can talk about Tom Brady's accomplishments forever. I just don't know if there was a logical place for him to go. And I don't know if they could make the match.
Well, you're telling me that any of those situations you just described aren't as good as the Bucs in 2020? Who the heck knew that all those players were that good?
Bucs were a sleeping giant.
And how do you know none of these teams are sleeping giants?
Well, they might be, but their quarterback situations, they might not be looking for a Tom Brady right now. Tampa was desperate for a Tom Brady. They love if Tom Brady could come.
You know, honestly, the Titans are way far ahead of where Tampa Bay was at that point. They've Traylon Burks. Who knows? I'm just saying, if he really wanted to find a home, he's Tom Brady. I think he could have. And I'm not totally agreeing with you.
But not just any place. He can't just go anywhere.
I wouldn't. I think it's being presumptuous to rule out some of those teams, especially the Raiders. I mean, the Niners, I kind of agree with you, but at least I think there was a chance. The Raiders, say they drafted Anthony Richardson at number 7. Why would that preclude them from taking Tom Brady?
Well, they could say, hey, we'll have Jarrett Stidham, and he'll help along Anthony Richardson. I don't know.
But why would they say that if they could have Tom Brady?
Well, because here's the thing. I think that if Tom Brady were to go to the Raiders, he's trying to win. So he would tell them, hey, you got to use that number 7 pick, or I would encourage you to use that number 7 pick on a tackle, on somebody who's going to help me.
Tom Brady's doing 1 year. He does not want a rookie tackle. I mean, look at
he had a rookie
look at the Giants with Evan Neal. Did you see what the Eagles did to Evan Neal, the number 7 pick from last year's draft? They turned him like a turnstile.
He had a rookie tackle, Tristan Wirfs, and they won a Super Bowl.
And I think they played him at right tackle, right?
Yeah, right tackle. That's fine.
So, yeah, Wirfs is a generational tackle. The odds of hitting on a top 20 tackle are so slim. Honestly, look, if we had been with Aquanu this year or Evan Neal this year, it would have been a disaster. If we'd been with Andrew Thomas a few years ago, there's no tackle that's coming in that's going to attract Tom Brady to that situation.
Listen, Wirfs was like the 3rd tackle off the board in that draft.
I'm telling you, Wirfs is not most tackles. But
it's not like he was going, like, Wirfs didn't go number 1 overall. This wasn't like, Orlando Brown.
I just think that Tom Brady's not going to want a rookie tackle. The odds are not good on that.
He'd rather have that than use the 7th. Like, if he's going there, then all hands have to be on deck in terms of winning next year.
And veterans.
Yes.
Rookies lose football games. That's all they do. They don't even, they don't understand what's going on in the NFL. He's going to want an old team, and they already have the makings of an old team in Vegas. They're pretty old. I don't know what's going to happen with Waller or Renfro. But I think he could have found a spot if he wanted to. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Say there was a spot. So you're saying if the Raiders had called and made backdoor offer, he would not retire?
I mean, I think he wants to play. Listen,
I disagree.
He never. What's the one thing he said about the Raiders? Like when he was on The Shop, they were going with this MFer over me. We know that. And then when he says something like, "I was never going to go there anyway," and people who thought that was Derek Carr, and then he dismissed it. Maybe he's got hurt feelings about how that went down. I know it was Gruden, and now it's a totally different regime, but maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he and McDaniels aren't as close as people thought. I have no idea, but I just think that if the Raiders, if they really made him an offer, I do think he still wanted to play. But that's me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I don't think so. Especially
you think
Raiders.
He's done.
I think he's really done. I mean, done. But again, this is just my opinion. I'd like to hear what people think. You call us 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227, because I think I'm in the majority. I think most people feel like the way Tom delivered that address, that he really was done.
Yeah, but I just wonder, was it his choice, or did he do his due diligence, as we know he would, going around, back channeling around the league, and couldn't find a spot?
But the other thing is, it's February 1st.
Yeah.
I don't even know. There's so many situations that we have no idea what direction they're going in. He can't really evaluate the field right now. And you think all these teams have made their decision at quarterback?
No, but that's why he unretired last year, right?
What do you mean?
Well, it was before the draft that he unretired.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But I kind of believe, too, Tampa Bay was a great situation this year coming in. It's warm. He knows the market. He knows the offense. He knows the players. So I don't think that this was about the fit. I think this was more about it's time. Because eventually it's time.